Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to Third Wave Trades. Today we're going to go over GameStop, ticker symbol GME, and I will also touch upon AMC as well. Obviously, both of these stocks are moving very similarly, and I think both of them are primed and getting ready to make a big move very soon, right? We've been talking about this for a couple weeks, and it's kind of just been drawing out. I think we're pretty much getting to the tail end of the accumulation period where both of these stocks are in, and we're getting ready for a major rally soon. So we'll go over both of those. I'm going to try to keep the video brief. There's not too much that's changed since my last GameStop video, but I just wanted to give you guys this update. All right, so before we get started, quick disclaimer: I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research and/or consult with a financial advisor before making any trading or investment decisions. Secondly, guys, if you could, please smash the like button down below. Please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification icon to get all my updated videos as soon as they come out. All right, guys, so let's get straight into it. I won't do the overall large count. I touched upon that in the last couple of videos. I'll provide links to that in the description below if you guys want to kind of see the overall picture. Again, just for a quick recap purpose, I will show you guys where we stand in the wave count right here, right? So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gave us our first wave up. Then we had this A, B, C, which was then a WXY for another A, B, C. And that's actually very important because I think that's what's playing out right now as well. So that gave us our first and our second in this larger degree red wave count, right? Then we started our first wave over here in a leading expanding diagonal, 5 waves right there. And now the question is, did this correction for this green intermediate wave finish, the second wave for this green intermediate wave, right? So I had this as an A, B, C, something like that. Can't really see it in this close time frame. And then we were starting our first of a new minor wave, right? So this purple wave. Now that's still possible so long as we hold above this point of invalidation, right? As long as we hold above 2275, then we can confidently say that this was the end of our intermediate second green wave, and we started the first wave over here. This rally up to $34 was our minor wave 1 in the purple, and then this whole correction, this ABC, has been the minor wave 2 correction. All right, but if we break that point of invalidation, right, so if we were to come below this, which I think is actually very likely, and I'll show you guys why in a minute when we go over the Wyckoff schematic. If we break this point of invalidation, it doesn't change this larger count. All it means is that we didn't start this purple this purple wave yet, right? So minor wave here has not started yet, and this ABC is part of another WXY, just like we had a WXY back here. We're having a WXY right here. This intermediate wave 2 may end somewhere within this range, right? At that point, we lose this point of invalidation. This C that finishes is part of a WXY, and this is where our second wave ends. And then from there, then we'll start a first wave move in the purple, right? So that means this whole correction was just one large correction. This move that we had up here was kind of it was an X wave as opposed to a first wave up of a minor degree. So hopefully that makes sense. You guys can see over here the reason why I'm leaning towards that. This move right here, very similar to this over here, right? Which was kind of our X and our WXY correction, right, with another ABC. So very similar. You guys can see obviously price action plays out in fractals, which is why we use methods like Elliott wave and Wyckoff. um, because they kind of take into account the fractal nature of the market. Um, but that's really where we stand in terms of the wave count. Over here, you guys can see that I have drawn up on the hourly chart. There is a fair value gap, basically from around $49 to $60. I do think that is the range that we are going to come and check really soon. So if you guys want a price target, you know, don't hold me to it. It's not financial advice. It just makes sense that we have a fair value gap right here on the hourly chart. And I do think that is something that we will come to test, right? It kind of uh, makes sense if we're getting that third wave move coming up. Also from a Wyckoff standpoint, um, once we get into phase D and phase E, that's going to really start our uptrend. And that I think is a very realistic target for where price will go um, in the near term, right? Not saying it's not going to go a lot higher than that in the future, but in the near term, I think this is a very reasonable price target for us to attain to 49 to $60 to get into this price gap. So down here, I've mentioned this before, is that I was looking at this also from an accumulation schematic, right? And let's go on a slightly smaller time frame. All right, so if we take a look at this, this is like towards the end of this wave C that we were just talking about. You can see from an accumulation schematic, we're pretty close. Now, this can be either an accumulation or a distribution. Don't really know yet. This could be a spring move right here in phase C, and I could see us springing down here, and then if we get a strong bounce back into the channel, then we'll be pretty sure that this is an accumulation, and from there we will go higher. But if we just keep falling here, if we break and we keep falling, we're pretty much in a distribution, which is fine. It doesn't mean that we're going to fall too much further, but this right here is kind of what I want to show you guys in the accumulation schematic right here. All right, so now this is again an hourly time frame, and this channel right here that I have drawn up, this is the local accumulation over here. All right, so that is basically showing us that within the larger accumulation, right, we are also in a phase C. Now, we're getting close to that point, that spring point. So again, the fractal nature of the market, in a smaller time frame, we're in an accumulation phase C. In a larger time frame, we're in accumulation phase C. And I wouldn't be surprised that we basically spring all the way down here, right, and break this channel of like 22.75, like I said, right, and then we get the bounce back, right? We break out of the lower accumulation, and we break out eventually of this upper range accumulation as well. All right, so you can see phase A, we had a change of character. This phase B has been very, very long, very drawn out, and you can see the fact that we're trading at the bottom of this range is showing that the accumulation process is coming to an end, right? Over here you can see I have this arrow just to show you guys the diminishing volume since we've been in this channel. Volume has been decreasing ever since we've been in this sideways kind of like trading. Goes out the way, right? So that is all signs of accumulation, right? If we had volume like going back and forth, high, low, high, low, high, low, that would be more indicative of a distribution channel. The fact that volume has been decreasing ever since we've been trading in this range shows you that basically it's accumulation, and basically selling pressure is drying up, and we're just waiting for like buyers to come in now and make the move to basically send this thing back up. So usually that comes once you get that spring move, and the spring move, again, like I said, is in past videos, is an attempt by sellers to try to force uh, weak hands, paper hands, into getting rid of their positions. So what they'll do is they will, that's when you'll see like those wick moves, those large wick moves, where they'll push price as far down as they can, um, get people to sell their position, and then they will buy um, uh, their positions at this low price over here, and then they'll let the price shoot back up, right? So don't get faked out, right? Uh, Diamond hands, guys. That's all I can say. Again, not financial advice, but everything is pointing towards a big rally coming soon, right? So now, how would you know that the spring move has happened? There's, you know, what you'll see is like a lot of volume on this push down, right? And then depending on what time frame you're looking at, right? So here's a 1 hour time frame that I'm on. I would look for one of those candles, right, that look like this. So on the hourly, it's going to close like this with one of those large wicks down here at the bottom, right? But price closes back above within this range, followed by other larger candles with increasing volume. Once the volume starts increasing now, right, and candles, we come back into this range. After going all the way down, we close back in the range. We start getting large candles. Price and volume start increasing. We get to the top of this channel. We've basically we're basically in an accumulation schematic. We're gonna get to the top over here, to the top of this channel, consolidate here for a little bit, maybe pull back into the range to form our last point of support, right? And then eventually after that, we'll break out of the channel, consolidate at the top in phase E, and then start the uptrend. All right, so be very cognizant Monday morning. Pay attention to this move right here. That's what I'm going to be looking at, like around 9:30 in the morning. I'm going to be looking for a sharp decline in price, and depending on how price action reacts once we get into this range, once we break this $22 range, how it reacts afterwards is going to dictate my position. Very likely I will, if I see a close like this, like I just described, I will just enter pretty heavy over here at this point. And then you could always wait for the last point of supports to add more to your position, push up, last point of support, sign of strength, last point of support, keep adding at the last point of supports if that's what you guys want to do, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. So this is going to be the best entry that you can get. Obviously, it's a riskier entry, but it's the best entry that you can get. If you guys want to wait for confirmation, you wait for price to come back to the top of this channel, pull back. You can use a fib level retracement, however you guys like to do it. Get in at this last point of support, and then again, right? So that's basically what I wanted to show you guys. Like, we are pretty much coming down to the wire. In prior videos, I thought maybe this would have been our phase C, like we were coming over here, and I was thinking maybe we won't really get the spring move out of the channel. That also happens, but obviously the way the price action has played out, we've basically just been accumulating more and more towards the bottom end of this channel. Volume has been decreasing so much. That's how you know we're really coming to the tail end of this. And now all I expect is that large spring move, push us out of the channel, get people to sell, and then price action is going to take off. Again, that aligns up with our wave count as well. We're again either in this second wave here, if we break this channel, or we've already started the minor wave move up. So we'll see how it plays out, but I do think it is very near. It's very close. Monday, maybe Tuesday. I think definitely sometime this week we're going to see that move take place. Now that doesn't mean, guys, That doesn't mean that we're going to see $60 by the end of the week. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that the move is going to start, in my opinion, right? So then we will get this, uh, we'll get the spring move. We'll come back up to the top of this channel is only roughly around $33, right? So you make that move, you consolidate for a little bit, price comes back down, you consolidate for a little bit, then you push back up, then you get to the top of the channel, right? So this could take another week, another 2 weeks. The thing is with GameStop, it is very volatile. Price does move pretty fast when it does take off. If we come back over here, we can see after this, after we broke out of this accumulation range. So over here we had our spring move, and right after that it took us about, this was Wednesday, we got to the top of the channel by the end of the day, we consolidated, and then this was all of Thursday, we were kind of consolidating towards the top of the channel, and then this was Thursday after hours, right, that we had that massive move. So that all happened within a span of 2 days. This is obviously a larger accumulation, so it could take more time, but I also think the move will be more explosive. So, right, the larger the accumulation period, right, it's like the bigger the spring, that is coiled, and once it uncoils, it's gonna go a lot further. It may take a little bit more time, but I think we are gonna get this massive move, and then again, the fair value gap here, roughly from $49 to $60, is the price target that I'll be looking at. So if you're playing calls, just give yourself enough time, maybe by 2 weeks out as opposed to a week out, right? Not financial advice, just saying, just be careful with the calls, right? Because a lot of times they'll expire out of the money. Time is the biggest factor. Time is the hardest thing to predict. But all in all, I think a big move is coming for GameStop. Like I've been saying it for a while. It's just we have to just break out of this channel, which is coming soon, right? You guys can see it. The volume is diminished so much. There's no more selling pressure left. There'll be one last attempt, again, in my opinion, and then buyers will step in, and we will make this large push, in my opinion, to this fair value gap, probably within a week, within 2 weeks. All right, so if we look at AMC, guys, I'm going to switch over now to AMC. Very similar. The wave count is a little bit tricky, right? I'm not really sure how to count the waves at right now, right? This was not a 5-wave move, in my opinion. This was like, if anything, a 1, 2, 3, right? And then we could be getting a 1, 2, 3, and then get a 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, right? It just ends up becoming like a leading diagonal or something like that. So I'm not really sure, unless we call this a 1, 2, this is a 3, and this is a 4. That's possible, and then we get some kind of like, this is the 5th wave. That makes sense. I mean, it doesn't look great. Doesn't look like your typical wave count, but the rules still adheres to the rules of Elliott wave, right? Where the 4th wave wouldn't cross into the bottom top of the territory of the 1st. I just don't like it from a wave count perspective, right? So I'm still hesitating right now on how to label this in terms of the wave count. But if we look at this from the Wyckoff method, the same thing is playing out, right? So very similar to GameStop. You guys can see we've been trading in this range for AMC, which is roughly around $4.50 to $5.50, right? You had your phase A, selling climax, automatic rally, secondary test, up thrust, and then you have this creek forming. And now we're basically in phase C, in my opinion, at the bottom of this range. And this is our spring move. It doesn't have to be a dramatic spring move, right? It could be, this could have been it already. Or they'll push down a little bit more, and then buyers will step in. But if you take a look at the volume over here, same exact thing, right? Because we've been accumulating, you can see that volume has been decreasing this entire time in phase B. That is basically the load up period, the period of accumulation, and then phase C is your test. You see over here that basically volume picked up towards the end over here, so that's why I'm saying maybe the spring move happened already, right? Took us towards the bottom of the channel, but basically what you're looking for is you're looking for that push down and for us to come immediately back into the channel. That's how you know it's a spring. You don't want price to go down here and then just hang out down here for a little while. That's your sign that basically this is a distribution and we're going lower. But if price comes out here and immediately it is bought back up by buyers to send it back into the channel, that's your sign that this is an accumulation. And then what should follow is increased volume, right, with large green candles, right, constantly going higher and higher and higher, right, with increased volume. That's basically what you would expect in phase D, for us to get back to the top of this channel. Once we get to the top of the channel, look for us to come back for some last point of support, and then we eventually break the top of the channel in phase E and start going higher in phase E in our uptrend, right? So very similar to GameStop, right? This is all just been an accumulation. So I'm not too sure so far right now about the wave count, but in terms of the Wyckoff, it's absolutely looking good, looking just like GameStop, right? So keep an eye on that, and we'll see how this plays out. All right. So that's all I really got for you guys today. If you guys like the video, please smash the like button down below. Please subscribe to the channel. Please hit the bell notification icon, and I will be back with more. Peace.